Hello, I'm Sean Duval, the Mail and Guardian, and today we're speaking to Zelda la Grange, who's the author of Good Morning, Mr. Mandela, which appeared in English and in Afrikaans and has now in its fourth printing. Congratulations. I think that makes it a bestseller in South Africa. And we're very happy to have Zelda here to talk about her book, the years she spent with Mandela as his personal assistant, and what has been happening since then the book came out. Zelda, tell us a little bit about, just in broad terms, your own story in terms of, the Burumesi who ended up at Mandela's side for, how long was it that you
19
worked with?
years.
19
years, yeah.
Long time.
Coming from a very conservative background, and people, it gets frowned upon now, but I've admitted that I've voted for the Conservatives in the last election. I voted no in the referendum, and suddenly I find myself in the epicenter of power of the new government. You can imagine the shock to a system in 1994. And then slowly Madiba started pulling me in and opening my way of thinking, and I started questioning my own beliefs and learning about my country and reading the beautiful ANC Freedom Charter for the first time, and realizing that what I was taught and brought up to believe is not all, true. So it's a metamorphosis I've been through, and he's taken me along that road. And yes, I've been very lucky that he's the person that took me on that journey. But what I'm trying to say to people with my book also is, if I could change to this extent, then it's in anyone's ability just to open your thinking and think differently about things. And I think that is probably the biggest effect he had on my life, is not to try and force my opinion on other people, but to get a broad view on what other people may think of a particular situation.
Discipline,
Respect and
integrity. And do you think those are all things that can be learned?
I mean, the way people are responding and relating to one another is so different from what it was a year or 10 years ago. Why? Because on all levels of society, you now see how hostile they are to one another. And that speaks of respect, that you can't argue with someone without slander or insulting. Why? Why are we so frustrated? Yes, we lack the leadership. But to me, that shows how much we miss Madiba. He was there. I mean, he was sick the last 3-4 years that we didn't see him, but people kind of behaved better because he was still there. And to me, this is now symptomatic of, okay, now our moral compass is gone. And now we can behave in this way. So I say to people, and I mean, I grab at it, but I say to people, imagine Mr. de Klerk and Madiba spoke to each other the way we spoke to each other now, speak to each other now. Imagine. Where would we be? Not only the two of them, but all people on both sides of the divide.
That's a good point, because you can't really imagine Madiba and de Klerk talking to each other the way that...
And they got very, very angry, and they had so many differences, and principle and so on. So they got very angry at one another. But they never felt the need to insult one another.
And obviously, you feel, I think, and this comes out in your book, is that the kind of lessons that you're now passing on to people in a corporate environment or in terms of social relations are partly based on your own experience and your own growth through those years.
Absolutely.
So maybe you can talk us through that very quickly. Just give us a sense of, for you.
Let's talk about corruption and this being a media house. You newspapers, the media report on corruption. And at a social event, we all say it's unacceptable, the levels of corruption in South Africa. And then you return to that same social event 20 minutes later, and everyone has got a story how they bribe a cop or how they download music or TV series illegally. And then I tell people a story of how Madiba dealt with a stolen bar of soap in Kuwait, how he wanted everyone fired because someone stole a bar of soap from his bathroom. That is how he felt about dishonesty. So now obviously people ask me, so how would he have felt about the corruption levels? And I say, I don't know, and I can't put words in his mouth, but that's how he felt about a stolen bar of soap. So draw your own conclusions. So it's very simple lessons, but it shows you, what he considered important, and that is discipline, respect, and integrity, or honesty.
And there you were with Madiba, this sainted figure. And you're saying that environment was just an unhealthy environment.
Yes, I must be honest with you, if you also compare those years, his presidential term and now, it's very, very different, of course. In our time, you didn't even discuss or ask anyone, but you wouldn't accept a pen as a gift from someone because it could be perceived in a difficult or in a compromising way. He led by example.
Do you think that is important, leading by example?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And because people emulate what you stand for, and that's why I say, we've made as a country, people people get shocked when I say it, but I think we've almost managed to institutionalize corruption, and I think the leadership needs to come from the top to say this is unacceptable.
Zelda, thank you very much for being here. It was delightful talking to you, and I hope your book goes into many more printings. I look forward to the 8th edition.